Hey everybody, it's time for 10 of 10. Really it's your Sadie, talking to a friend. She asked him 10 questions, they give her 10 replies. Hopefully you'll learn how Casey really thrives. The purpose of the session is to make Casey connections. 10 of 10, 10, 10.
I'm ready.
Katie!
Katie!
It's so good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank you
to
for
this
having me.
impromptu series on the interweb. So everyone, this is Katie Tigerstrom, and she's going to tell her about herself.
Hi, so I used to work in theater, and I used to do stage management, usually just assistant stage managing for the opera, for ballet, for theater. But now I am a corporate communications manager and an internal engagement committee person.
Do it all person.
Sort of.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Are you ready for your 10 questions?
I am. Let's do this.
Okay. Question number 1. How did we meet?
Opera, I think. It was the lyric opera. We worked on a show together.
Yeah.
I don't remember what show, though.
Apparently it was like 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember the show, though. I'm not sure what show it was. Had been one of your first shows there at the Lyric, though, I think.
My first show was the last show in the old building.
Yep. So that would have been one of the shows that I worked on, yeah.
Weren't you having to trim like shrubbery in that show or something? Oh God, I don't know. I just remember it being very large and I was overwhelmed. Okay, question number 2. How did you start working the arts?
I grew up in a theater family. My family does community theater. They still do. My dad loves to do directing and lighting and everything for theater. So I kind of grew up in that. I have an uncle who was a stage manager, who was an actor, and he now teaches drama. And so I literally grew up with it. And it was just kind of ingrained in my blood.
Was it all in Kansas City?
No, it was in LaPorte, Indiana, which is a very tiny town between Chicago and South Bend, Indiana.
How'd you end up here?
I ended up here because of the lyric opera, actually because of Tracy Davis sing. She's Tracy Davis sing now. She was Tracy Davis then. I met her through an acquaintance at IU, Bloomington, which I had worked at right after I graduated college. Met her at DMMO, Des Moines Metro Opera. And I went to Alaska for a year. And while I was in Alaska, Tracy called me up and said, hey, I'm going to be the director of production at the Lyric Opera of Kansas City. And I want you to come to be my assistant. And I said, Kansas? Missouri? All right, for a year. And that was 11 years ago.
I feel like we all have that, like the people who are outsiders, we always have that, wait, what do you mean Kansas City moment? Like I remember my moment like that very specifically, like why would there be a lot of theater there? Why would I even go there? And then you get here and it kind of like hits you all at once.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a good year and a half to really get into it because I moved here. I didn't know anybody but Tracy and Aaron Thompson. Thompson Jansen now. I mean, we've all changed. Oh my God.
I know. Very confusing.
It's very confusing, right? But when I first met, I didn't know them. I didn't even know them very well either. And so it was very hard my first year. And then in the middle of my second year, I met my husband. And that's how that happens.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 3. Who inspires you?
So many people. So many. I would have to say my mom a lot. She passed not too long ago, so she's definitely a big influence on me. She was always a big influence. She was very, both my parents were very supportive, and they loved theater, and they loved doing theater, and they loved, my mom in particular loved any kind of art, anything that was painting or photography. She actually majored in photography. She went to college alongside with me to major in photography, which was kind of fun. We went to the same college. It was great. So I would say she was probably a big influence for me and a big inspiration. She still is. I don't know, you can't see it, but my tattoo is actually in her handwriting.
Oh, that's so cool and beautiful.
It says, if I had words to sing a day for you. It's a song from Babe, the pig movie.
Oh.
Farmer sings it to the pig, and my mom used to, the first birthday I was away from her, she actually called and sang that to me, and it made me cry, and she sang it every year until she died. So.
Oh, that's so awesome. It's so interesting, like how our parents influence our artistic love. You know, like even if they don't do whatever art that we're practicing, it's still like a love for some form of art can really transform like the way that we get involved in art. I always think that's really interesting. You know, my dad's a musician. I think a lot of that filtered down towards my love for opera, even though he's like a classic rock guy, you know. But I think somehow we all end up, you know, in art through them somehow, which is just really cool.
Yeah, they were a really big influence in my art loving, just because they were so into the arts.
Yeah. It's so, and now like you're a mom, and do you feel like the art that you love, like do your kids like that too, or do they find their own art?
They, my oldest, who is our biological son, he is very artistic. He's very creative. He loves drawing, painting, crafting, anything that is creative. He loves, he's gone through music classes, kinder music classes, and he's going to start piano in the fall. So he's really, really into it. I think he kind of gets that genetically a little bit, but our other two who are adopted, they also are, you know, they're young too, you know, they're toddlers, preschoolers, so their personalities are still developing, but they both do music class, and I'll put on an opera or something, or I'll listen to opera just to have something in the background, and I kind of like to foster that in them. Or if I notice they're moving, my middle son, Ben, he is very movement oriented, and so I popped on Nutcracker one day just to see how he'd react, and he started dancing along to it, and it was, you know, I love fostering that in them. So
I love that. That's awesome.
And my husband agrees, so I think that also is helpful to have a partner who also like fosters all those things.
Yeah, and it's fun to do like as a family too, because it gives you something else to, I don't know, stretch your brain about together.
Absolutely.
Okay, question 4. How do you use your talent that you gained from being on a stage management team into your current profession?
A lot. There's a lot that transfers into, especially HR and what I do in communications. I mean, especially in internal communications, because stage management is communication. I mean, think about it, it's all about taking everything from you know, I always used to think of the wheel. Everything kind of goes around the stage manager. Stage manager is the hub, the middle.
Yeah.
And that all happens only because we communicate. And so that's what I do now for a corporation. Like, it's taking all that information in and making it easily accessible to everyday employees, and making it fun for them to interact with. And so that is exactly like the stuff I did in stage management. And I was also much better at assistant stage managing than I was at production stage managing, because I think that assistant stage managers tend to be a little bit more involved in the actors and with the people, right? They tend to be the first line of, you know, hey, something's not right. They're the first line right there helping out. And then they'll go to the production stage manager if they need something. But that love of interacting with the people has been, I mean, my company is, let's see, well, in Overland Park, we're about 400 strong, and I could tell you the names of about 350 of them.
Oh my gosh. So it's like being in opera. You got to learn those names quick.
Yeah, exactly.
And no name tags.
No, I mean, I'm the first person they meet on their first day, because I do orientation also for everybody in the first day. And so that actually is how I do that, because I spend 2 or 3 hours with them in their first day. And I learn who they are and do all that. And so that's kind of what it is. Stage management also, by the way, has really helped, because we have been doing holiday parties in which we have like 500 people there, and I always have to speak, and I always have to speak in front of the whole company. Like, we do these town hall Zooms where I'm the host, and I'm like the one who has to speak in front of all these people. And I actually got over that because of my first show at the Lyric, which was Aida. And, you know, Aida's got that huge chorus and supers and all these other people. And so like I kind of had to get over it because I had to talk to those choristers and I had to talk to those supers and like in front of a whole bunch of people. And so that really kind of got me over being scared of speaking in public. So
it's like that no fear syndrome. Like they don't warn. I feel like no one warned me that was going to be part of stage managing, especially stage managing opera, that I was going to have to command a room of that size. And when you know you have to do it the first time, I swear I had sweat like dripping down, right? And now it's like 400 people, oh, whatever. It's just like another group of people. So it just takes that practice, but it's so interesting how those skills are so very transferable.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I like what you said about like being the middle of the wheel, because a lot of people think of stage management as a hierarchy, and I try to like get that out of people's minds, that while there is like someone in charge and 2 assistants and then maybe production assistants, like you really are just all working together. So there's really no better person or person who's above you. It really has to be some kind of team action that you're working towards.
Through collaboration.
That's right. Okay, question number 5. How do you think Kansas City can improve its art scene?
Ooh.
That's a hard one.
That is a really hard one because we have such a great art scene. And I think that it's just a matter of exposure, maybe. Exposure not only from outside Kansas City, like I feel like that's not a big enough draw. Like people don't know Kansas City as like a cultural hub.
Right.
But like it is. And I mean, I talked to my family who still lives in small town Indiana, and you know, I say, oh, we're going to go see this show and we're going to go see that show and we're going to go to the ballet. Well, not anymore.
I know.
Sad day. But like, and they're like, oh my God, there's so much stuff going on in Kansas. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly it. There's so much. And so I think it's just exposure outside of Kansas City. And also, I don't think, I mean, like I talked to the people at work and they don't know about any of these things either. You know?
Yeah, I think that's so true. Like there are a lot of people who might be in the corporate world who don't necessarily see what it is we're doing or how much Kansas City is thriving, because you know, you get busy or you have your own interests and you're doing other things. And sometimes if you're not a person who's been immersed in the arts fully, like you don't think to say, you know, oh, well, tonight on Friday night, instead of staying home, I'm going to go to the opera or I'm going to go to an art gallery or something like that.
Yeah. And I think part of that is also just, we're such a big sports town that it kind of overshadows some of the arts too, which
I know. I wish there has to be a way we can combine them. I'm going to brainstorm on that. I feel like there's like a really cool opera that can be made about Patrick Mahomes or something.
Right? Like there should be some way we can get this together. Yeah, exactly.
We can definitely put that together in like 10 minutes. We'll throw that together in the next 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, number 6. What was the most memorable piece of theater or art or dance or whatever that you've seen in Kansas City?
Man, it is a toss-up. I would have to say Everest at Lyric Opera was so good. That moved me in a way that I was not prepared for, honestly. Like I've seen opera.
Yeah.
You know? And I went to go see that.
Opera too.
Yeah, and I was like, meh, you know, and I'd even seen modern operas and done some modern operas, and I was like, meh, you know. That moved me in a way I was not prepared for. It was just stunning visually. Just the way that the singers were emoting, and just like you felt immersed a little bit in that. And I think that was probably one of my favorite pieces. It's up between that and some of the stuff I've seen at Spinning Tree Theater. Spinning Tree's done a lot of good stuff. And I'm a seasoned member for them, and there's a lot of good stuff that they've done too that has really kind of hit home.
I know that's a hard question because
It is.
there's so many choices, you know, but I feel like since you only have a certain amount of seconds to answer, the first two are gonna pop out in your mind. There you go.
That's right.
All
Everest was the
right.
first thing that popped in my mind, so that's probably going to be it.
Yeah. Everest, I will tell you, that's the first time I was ever truly scared while I was watching a show, just because it made, like, the show was made to be scary a little bit, and I actually felt scared.
And the stage manager and you also feared for those actors, didn't you?
Yes, I bet.
Yeah, me too.
All right, number 7. What is your next dream for your career?
Oh man,
I know they're good questions.
this is hard because I'm in a position that I really love, and there's not much more I would do except for maybe expand my role in what I'm doing. I really love what I do. I would love to be more strategic in that and be more of a leader in that, in the thought leadership. Right now, I'm a little bit more reactive than I want to be. It's a lot of, hey, Katie, you need to do this. And then I craft an email and then I send it out, you know, or being told, you know, I'd love to be one of the decision makers that helps with that. I think that would be probably my biggest dream on that. So that's, yep, for my career, I think that's where I would go.
And that's a weird and hard step, right? Because it's like when you feel like you're at the top of your position, it's like, how do you get into that next step without overstepping, but still making sure that you're like challenging yourself at work, because you don't want to get stagnant, right?
Yeah. I think that right now I'm in a place where I'm okay with being stagnant at work because my personal life and my home life is so chaotic with the kids that I think that I'm okay with it being stagnant for a little while until the kids get a little older. And then I'm definitely going to want to move on a little bit and maybe pour myself into more hobbies. I would love to get back into theater in some form or fashion, but you know.
We would love that.
I would love that too. It's just a matter of kids right now.
Hey, I'll be patient. I'll wait for you, Katie.
Oh, I will do that, Sadie. As soon as I get the chance, I'll do it.
All right, question number 8. What are you deeply grateful for right now?
Oh, so many things. I am so grateful that I work for an amazing company that has done its best to not do very many layoffs. I'm so grateful that I have a house and a husband and kids and we're all safe and healthy. I'm just so deeply grateful for both of those, for all those things. We are so incredibly lucky, my husband and I. And I watch my theater friends struggle right now, and that's really hard to watch when I'm doing so well. It sucks. I mean, it's like first world problems here, right?
I know.
I'm doing fine, but my friends all are floundering a little bit, and I don't like that.
It is. It's like a very hard thing to watch, especially since you've been a part of it. You know, these people become your family, and we understand like the theater family sentiment because we're part of it. But I think what a lot of people who don't work in theater don't really recognize is that it really is our family. And when one person is hurting, we're just emotional people. We also feel that pain a little bit. Even if we are in a place where, you know, things are okay, just knowing that our friends might not be, it is hard. It is really hard. And, you know, the only thing we can do, I think, is people is just offer our support when they need it or when they ask for it, and be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, number 9. What is the best piece of advice you have received?
I got asked this the other day in another interview podcasty thing. So this is, unfortunately, I know you're trying to keep it in 10 minutes, but this is a little bit of a story, but it has to do with Bohème. And we were doing Bohème, and, you know, we taped out the stage, and there was the cafe scene where the waiters were going in and out and coursers were going in and out, right? And we had a music stand there. We had the wall taped, but people just kept walking through that wall. And I was getting so frustrated because I was like, why are you walking through the wall? Please stop. And I don't remember who it was. I don't remember if it was Tracy or Aaron or somebody else or Victoria or somebody, but somebody said to me, like, Katie, it's fine, because once the wall's there, it's there, and they're going to either walk into it or they're going to walk around it. And that has like blown my mind.
That's amazing. That's pretty deep.
It's really deep. And I was talking about this on this podcast for my company the other day about how I use that, because I can tell people about a problem only so much. You can lead a horse to water only so much, and either they're going to crash into the wall or they're going to walk around it. So,
yeah. I feel like COVID is our wall right now.
Oh, it's so, yeah.
Yeah.
America is a little bit a wall right now.
Yeah.
A lot.
All we can do is we can walk into the wall or we can walk around it, my friend.
Or find a way to get around it. That's right.
That's right.
Still get on stage in time.
Good. I love it. All right, number 10. You ready? You made it. You survived. This is the last question. What is the best piece of advice that you would give to somebody?
Ooh. I don't know. I really like the wall advice. I think I might continue to just give that one out. So whoever said that to me, thank you, because I think I would just give that one out, because I think it's very deep and it's very, you know, I don't know. Depends on what you're asking. I mean, like, there's another thing that like my husband and I do in our relationship, and that is that we always thank each other. Like, that is a daily thing. We're always thankful to each other. If my husband does the dishes, I don't take that for granted. And I carry that around with I think we carry that both around with everything we do, but it's like, thank you for doing the dishes. Every night we sit down for dinner and all our kids thank whoever made the dinner. Like, that's just kind of one of those things that it helps with the gratitude of recognizing that other people had to do those things.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good. Like, I feel like, especially in the job of what we do, sometimes we don't get the gratification or we don't get the recognition a lot, especially on the stage management team. And a lot of times we as stage managers, we don't want it. Like, we're good, like, don't thank us. But I think that now there's been a big shift in our profession where stage managers do want the recognition, and we do want to be thanked for what we do, because it's such a big part of every organization. So I think that's awesome. I think, yeah, everyone should thank each other, even if it's for taping the floor.
Absolutely.
That's a big job.
That is. And I would say that theater needs to evolve a little bit, and it's part of the reason I left it. And that is that stage managers felt the need to be humble and not take praise, but I think that that's wrong. And I think that stage managers do the majority of the work, and they should take bows just like a director. I really believe that. I think that, to be honest, they take the show after the director leaves, and they're the ones that make it go. And nobody knows that. You'd ask anybody not involved in theater who a stage manager is, they have no clue.
Right.
And that's not right.
Yeah, and I think that the more recognition that you give to stage managers, the harder I think we work at our job, because we understand our value. It's when we start to lose our value as stage managers, or any person, any worker, any technician. Absolutely, when we're not valued, that's when we start to not do our best work. So absolutely. Oh my gosh, Katie, I'm so proud of you. You survived the 10 questions.
I did. It was a little longer than 10 minutes, though. I apologize.
That's okay. So lastly, is there anything that you want to shout out to? Anything that you want to plug or represent or say go team about? The floor is yours.
Floor is mine. Foster care is really near and dear to my heart. That's how we got our two littlest. And I really encourage everybody to look into how they can help foster kids. Foster kids are, there's so many out there that need a home, and it's so easy to say that's not for me, but if it's not you, who's going to do it? And so I would say look into foster care. If it's not full-time foster care, there's also things like respite, where you take them for a day or 2 days and basically babysit. And that's a huge help to those who do full-time foster care.
Amazing. Thank you, Katie, so much. If we have links, we will provide them for Katie's cause and for her shout out. We'll put some links when we upload the video. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Sadie.